live. We're live. You are live. We are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the live All Dolphins post-game live recap show of the Dolphins 23-15 word score, 23-15 victory against the LA Rams, which was workmanlike, but so needed, as Ken LaVicka of ESPN Sports Radio and voice of FAU Athletics is going to discuss with me for the next, I don't know, however minutes. Ken, how are you?
I'm great, and we stayed awake, and it was worth it, and we can go to bed without punching walls or smashing our face into the closet. Like, this was good. It was not pretty, okay? But this makes me feel so much better than the win over the Patriots, right? Because that sucked. Like, that was sort of a battle of attrition. Fine, we were both stuck in cartoonish quicksand, and the Dolphins were able to pull themselves out of that. This was actually, especially defensively, a competent performance against a team that was coming in playing its best football of the season, that's in a division race, and the Dolphins went on the road in a place where it's been difficult to have a quote-unquote comfortable win, and they found kind of a comfortable win. That's a good night, Poop. I'm feeling good about it.
I'm glad. I'm very happy. I'd say it was more of a competent performance by the defense. It was a very good performance by the defense. It was Dolphins were outgained 327-238, but they were so much better situationally than the Rams were. They were better on third down. They were better in the red zone, and that made a difference. And their field goal kicker didn't miss a 47-yard field goal, and that's the danger always when you have those kickers attempt those long-distance field goals. You miss them. Dolphins got the ball at the 47-yard line to start a drive, and that's when they got one of their two touchdown drives. The first one was the first one of the game, which was, I think, it seems to me we've seen that quite a bit with these Dolphins. That first drive is like right down the field, boom, touchdown. But the defense came to play, and I knew without question Zach Sealer's return was going to make a big difference.
It sure did.
Yeah, without question. And Kate, you know what? Cater's a good player. I'm sorry. I'm liking Cater's season. I think he's very solid. And I very much liked when I saw the replay of his knee injury, when I saw that it was just banging knees. It's like, okay, he'll be back. That's fine.
Yeah, without question. I know that he says that this is probably his last year, but if I'm Chris Greer, I'm just extending a 5-year contract to Calais Campbell, whether he likes it or not. And you find a way for him to ink that. Calais Campbell is such a complete, total man beast. I mean, that guy, in the first half alone, he came up with 2 tip passes, one that led to an interception. He was all over the place, wreaking havoc. I think Calais Campbell set the tone. Sealer was a big part of this, and he was right alongside Calais Campbell. But, man, Calais Campbell set the tone for the night, and the defense never really felt overly threatened. It was a little bit annoying at times when the Rams were hitting underneath, though. I'd take that over getting hit over the top. In fact, the biggest pass play of the game the Rams hit was on that final full drive that they had. And so for me, I just thought the Dolphins did not blitz a lot at all, but when they did, boy, was it effective. And I don't want to go throughout this entire time you and I talking tonight, Poop, without giving Chop Robinson some credit, because we have been really critical of him and how he's gotten into the backfield, but then he can't finish plays. He was a part of 2 massive plays defensively in the backfield where he got the job done, where it put the Rams in a really tough spot. He was good. He was pretty solid last week. He was really good tonight. And for the first time, I thought to myself, maybe there certainly is something there with 44.
No, I agree. Yeah. And in fact, I did mid-season awards on Miami Dolphins on SI.com. Please check out the website. Content's for free. And my midseason MVP was Calais Campbell. And my player to break through, my player to watch in the second half of the season was Chop Robinson, because I got the feeling that He was coming along, and whatever they get out of him, and then Quentin Bell out of nowhere gets a sack near the end of the first half, which was like, Quentin Bell, really? So that was nice. And they just got a whole bunch of different contributions. They made the Rams look like a very mediocre offense, and that's actually a pretty good offense that they have. Kyron Williams is a very good running back. Nakua, Kupp, Robinson is a good wide receiver trio. And they really muzzled them for much of the game. You always get the feeling, I think you mentioned this earlier, that the Dolphin defense kind of was in control, and it wasn't going to be the same one. Of course, it would have been nice if this defense had shown up against Buffalo or Arizona, such as life in the big city. The offense didn't play nearly as well as it did against Buffalo or Arizona. It was not a great performance. The running game wasn't great. Of course, not having Alec Ingold didn't help. Tua wasn't particularly good either. He loose with the ball in the first half, took a couple of sacks that to me kind of like seemed like he could have made a better effort to get out of the pocket and chuck it out of bounds. But they made enough plays, and they made plays on the stretch. Tua made that nice throw to Beckham on that third down on the final drive, which got him the game-clinching field goal. And as Ken and I were discussing before we had the live button, for those of you who are panicking and get so nervous because I said ball game after Jason Sanders made it 23-12 with 2:38 left, teams don't recover onside kicks anymore, basically.
No. So
and the Rams were down to one timeout. They're not driving down the field with that kind of speed, and they're not going to get the ball back anyway. So that's why. Sure, it wasn't 100%. Let's say it was 99.9%. I felt comfortable enough to say ball game.
Yeah, and you were right. And you were right. Everybody get off of Poop's back because, again, had you watched the Rams try and muscle the ball down the field, lurch the ball down the field the rest of the night? No, they couldn't do anything. It was a done deal. Though I did get a little bit nervous on the onside kick when it's turning and going super slow, and you're not quite sure it's going to go the 10 yards. Someone was going to have to make a commitment to it, and Duke Riley did. Credit to him. He was able to gather the ball in, and it was all elementary from there. We haven't mentioned Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey was really, really locked down, adhesive, dominant tonight. You didn't see him a lot, and there's a reason for that. It's because Puka Nacua could not do a single damn thing against number 5. Just absolutely could not. That's why you pay him that money against that receiving core, because he was all over the place, and he was hitting hard. I thought Jalen Ramsey, and I knew we were going to talk Sealer. I knew that we were going to talk Calais Campbell. I know that Kader Kohu was going to come up, as he should, Chop Robinson. But Jalen Ramsey just did Jalen Ramsey things. He was so solid tonight in a winning effort. And the defense is why this win feels better than anything that the Dolphins have experienced, the few wins they've had this year, the 3 now they've had this season. The Jaguars, they needed a monster fourth quarter to get the job done and to hang on for dear life. The Patriots, they came one obscure back of the end zone touchdown waved off away from a absolutely demoralizing loss. This was the first time all year it felt like the Dolphins had a winning game plan, that they made the plays to win. That final full possession that they had that led to the Jason Sanders field goal, where you then tweeted, Poop, ball game, that's professional football right there. Like, that's the type of thing. We always compare them to the 49ers. That's the type of thing that competent teams, winning teams do. They make a play, and that play was Tua to Odell Beckham. Other than that, it was controlling the line of scrimmage. It was able to hit shots down the field, doing it under control, putting your kicker in a position to succeed and closing out the game. Nothing flashy, nothing spectacular. Go push the lead back to 11 and win the game. That's winning damn football that's escaped the Dolphins to this point this year.
True. Okay, and by the way, for those, even had the Rams been able to recover that onside kick, there's 39 seconds left. They were out of timeouts, and they would have had the ball, let's say, at their 45-yard line. So 55 yards and 38 seconds with no timeouts. Good luck. Okay, so we're going to get to the comments at some point, but I'm seeing like some pushback already. Folks, Tua didn't play well. Seriously. Okay, then I see guys pointing out a couple of nice throws he had. Yeah, he had a couple of nice throws. Absolutely. If he goes an entire game without one single nice throw, we got a major problem. Okay, he played very well against Buffalo. He played very well against Arizona. He didn't play well tonight. It's okay to say it. I know he's got his defenders and his protectors and all that. That's awesome. Okay, but can we be real here? It's annoying, by the way. So anyway, go ahead.
Well, I knew Tua was going to come up, and I tend to staunchly defend the man.
Yes,
though I am a sort of I did not love, and I don't even think we discussed it on here. Definitely did not love the whole that ball slipped through my hands. You try and catch that snap while you're sitting on your couch with eating chips. What is that? Tua, shut up. Do your job, okay? And we don't need the condescending attitude and all that garbage that comes with it. And I'm not turning on Tua here, but I thought that sucked. But then I don't care if Tua didn't play well in a win. Like I can't live my life anymore going on a week-to-week basis, and I think Dolphins fans tend to do this. And their whole being is tied into whether or not Tua played a good game or not. I can't do that anymore. I will take Tua's performance tonight. I thought that the throw on the opening possession where he escaped the pocket and picked out Jalen Waddle, that's good winning football. Same thing, critical drive late in the game, Raheem Mostert, after Tua is able to escape the pocket. But here's my problem tonight. Tua took 3 sacks that rookies take. Over the last 2 weeks, Tua has found great success escaping the pocket, running to his right, or to his left. I don't know what this floating backwards garbage is, as if he is going to throw it off his back foot and find somebody miraculously. The one time he did that tonight, he got picked off. So I don't know what Tua is thinking. I don't know what's going on there, but that's got to stop because that's rookie nonsense. That's what's going to lose you football games. And it did force a turnover that then the defense was able to get back immediately. That's unacceptable. That's not good football. That's losing football. So Tua made some big league throws, and especially on that final drive, that throw to Malik Washington is as good as it gets. Bravo to that. I love that. I love that type of Tua. But this backtracking nonsense, as opposed to getting outside the pocket and throwing on the run, which he's done well both last week and tonight, stop that. It's so dumb, and he's been in the league too long to be making mistakes like that.
Yeah, and to me, there were 2 plays that stood out as being really bad. Number one is the fumble, where the pocket's collapsing around him, tuck the ball away, take the sack, as opposed to having the ball out and easily swattable. And then the other one on the interception, dude, you've had concussions. Why are you getting down low to tackle the guy at the knees? Seriously.
Yeah. I have a theory on this.
Ahead.
I really think that Tua is right now, he's just sort of in bleep you mode. He is sick of the constant attention on his health and his well-being, and it's only convenient for people to care about him. Those who grip him consistently, those who criticize him, it's only convenient that they care for him when he's down on the ground and he has a concussion. I think he thinks a lot of that is fake concern. I think that he is in total, hey, the doctors have told me I can play. Everybody else can bleep off. I'm going to go out there. He's going to be defiant. He's going to go try and make a tackle on an interception. I don't even think he's thinking in that moment about his personal health. I don't think he cares. He's going out. He's going to play football. If he gets hurt, so be it. And I think that's sort of that defiant, condescending tool we've seen since he's come back. Something's changed with him. Like he just doesn't care anymore, and he wants to do his own thing. And I truly think that's what's happening right now with him.
To me, the new Tua attitude stems from the contract extension. I think that really emboldened him, to be like, I'm the man now. When you start singing it like it's my team or something, or things to that effect. But regardless, I mean, and I don't want to spend too much time on Tua because he wasn't a major factor in the game one way or the other. But yeah, he can try to be proving a point all he wants. That doesn't change the fact he's had concussions and getting his his head in the vicinity of the guy's legs is stupid, and he did get kicked in the head on that particular play. We should discuss some injuries here. Speaking of concussions, don't like hearing and very quickly ruled out Kendall Fuller in concussion protocol, and he was ruled out very quickly. I saw the play. I didn't see anything like nasty that where I went, oh crap, no. So now, and that's 2 concussions now in 7 weeks. Because remember, he missed a game against Tennessee in week 4 because of the concussion the previous week. So this is one of those. Again, what you're trying to avoid is those concussions in close proximity. And I think this is one of those where, I think the dude's going to sit for a bit. And I don't want to make predictions and all that, but that could smell like that. Tyreek Hill, let's go to Austin Jackson, was put on IR with a knee injury. Mike McDaniel raised the possibility he might have to have knee surgery, but it would be more of a cleanup kind. But the fact that he did wind up on IR kind of suggests this is what's happening. Kendall Lamb started in his place tonight. I didn't notice anything egregious.
Nothing glaring. Yeah.
No, I saw more issues on the interior. I saw more issues from Robert Jones, Aaron Brewer one time, Liam Eichenberg one time. Although props to Liam for drawing the flag by pushing the guy in the back after the play, and then the guy came back and headbutted him.
I'm telling you, that was the single most productive play in Liam Eichenberg's entire Dolphins career. Him drawing that personal foul, extending that drive, which ended in points, like that right there, Liam Eichenberg, for all of the bad snaps, all of the blown protection, everything we've gone through with Liam Eichenberg at multiple positions over the years, that tonight, that right there is winning football from Liam Eichenberg. Kudos. Applause, Liam. Thank you.
Okay, and the other injury to note was Robert Jones left the game with a knee injury, did not come back, was replaced by Lester Cotton. And no, I know it's coming. No, the Dolphins are not going to move Teron Armstead to left guard and put Patrick Paul at left tackle. That's not going to happen. It's going to be Lester Cotton who's going to wind up playing left guard. Then Tyreek Hill. Okay, so Tyreek Hill told Lisa Salters from ESPN he's got a torn ligament in his left wrist. The issue is, and this has been going on pretty much the whole season, the issue is pain tolerance. Has that had a role in his numbers being so down from what they usually are? And again tonight, Tyreek 3 catches, 16 yards.
But my thing is with the wrist, it doesn't affect his route running. He has not been open, and I don't know if it. And I honestly don't know. I'm just speculating here. I don't know if it's his route running. I don't know if the scheme has just been figured out and he's being bracketed every single time he gets down the field, and he has an inability to get into space where Tua can find him. If Tua has not been able to find the timing with Tyreek Hill, I don't know, but the wrist should have nothing to do with that. Tyreek Hill's not dropping passes. I'd be concerned if it was hands, ground, or the Jalen Waddle just threw your hands and off your face mask and out of bounds on what should have been a sure thing first down throw. We'll get to Jalen Waddle in a little bit, but I don't think the wrist is the issue for the lack of production. I think there's distractions. I think that he's being game planned for, and I just think that it's an ineffective, bad Tyreek Hill year where issues have been compounded. Let's not forget, Poop. I mean, you played over a month with anything you could pull off the scrap heap back there at quarterback. And Tyreek Hill, I'll admit it now, he's no longer the type of player that can by himself uplift an offense. The only receiver that can do that in the NFL, and I've told you this before, I think is Justin Jefferson now. He's the only one that can come in and single-handedly as a receiver lift up an offense. Tyreek Hill can't do that. He showed that. He had just absolute quarterback filth throwing to him. So it's become clear that he needs some help, and Tua's got to give him that help.
Might throw Jamar Chase in that conversation too, especially this year. Did you pick up on Jalen Waddle also after he had that nasty drop where he kind of went like almost
what
like
was that?
it was signaling that he lost the ball or something, and the replay doesn't show the defender having his hand get in front. So, but that seemed to be what he was suggesting.
I guess, yeah. I was trying to figure out if he was telling Tua that the ball needed to be somewhere else, or if but then this motion would make you think that he pulled a CeeDee Lamb at Jerry World yesterday. There was light in his eyes, there was sun in his eyes, in a game being played at night. So I have no idea what that was. Jalen Waddle objectively quiet and inconsequential tonight, other than the opening drive. There was not a ton that Jalen Waddle did. And unfortunately, Tyreek and Jalen Waddle are sort of having similar seasons from that standpoint, which isn't helping, which leads me to believe it's not just a Tyreek thing. It's not just a Jalen Waddle thing. It's probably a little bit of a Mike McDaniel thing. But then we start getting into conversations that are out of my breadth of knowledge and wherewithal, because I don't even know where to begin with that, because I think we can all agree too that tonight's play calling wasn't great, and Mike McDaniel got a little bit of a break with a time. I don't know if you saw, Poop, when they had to burn that second of 3 timeouts. They get out of the huddle at like 4, and McDaniel's like, my bad, and he goes immediately to the play sheet. The play's too late coming in. Like, that's on him. And he's lucky that it didn't come back to bite him because the defense came to play. But you can't do that. That's losing football. It was a sack into taking a delay a game. That can't happen. You can't do that.
No, and some of the numbers, if you look, the Dolphins, who had been running the ball very, very well in recent games, did not run the ball well at all today. It's 22 for 67. That does include the 2 kneel down at the end, but it also includes the 18-yard touchdown by Malik Washington on the end around. But Achane was 12 for 37, Jalen Wright 5 for 3. And by the way, and I love Jalen Wright as much as the next guy, but I think we need to pump the brakes on him a little bit because, again, if the blocking is there, he's going to be productive, just like Raheem Mostert is, just like Devon Achane is. But this notion that the Dolphins absolutely have to give him carries, they have to give him carries.
Right.
It's not always there. It's not the first time these numbers are really bad.
Yeah. I mean, you only had, what was it tonight, Poop? 67 yards on the ground? Yeah. 67 yards on the ground tonight. And I'm with you. Jalen Wright unlike Achane, Jalen Wright he's having a really hard time finding the seam and getting himself to break. He doesn't break any tackles. Achane has developed the ability to break tackles. He's no longer a one-touch and down type of tailback. That spin move he had for extra yardage tonight as well was absolutely gorgeous. He's the Dolphins' number 1 back now. I mean, Raheem Mostert didn't get a single carry tonight. A total goose egg there. And I get it. If you can't hang on to the ball, if you can't be effective in the run game, you can't get the football. I can't believe I'm saying it. And I don't know if it's even good for this football team. But Devon Achane is the number 1 running back for the Miami Dolphins, and it does look like, even without Alec Ingold, who, how many times have we talked about, Poop? Man, does Achane love to follow Ingold? Like, that's where he gets the majority of his yards, where he's following right behind his fullback truck, and he still was able to churn out and fight for yardage tonight and be an impact player. I am ready to declare it that he's the number 1 running back on this team.
Dude, he's been the number 1 running back for the whole season.
But I mean, look ahead. Like, potentially you start planning for that to be the case in coming seasons.
Oh, no, it's coming. It's
there.
coming.
Yeah.
But his numbers today, I mean, 12 for 37 rushing, 5 for 15 on the ground. And again, nobody had big numbers offensively. Dolphins had 238 yards.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot, but they were efficient. I'm looking here let me look at my 2 for 3 in the red zone, and the Rams were 0 for 3. There's your ball game right there. So, okay, let's move on to the comments, shall we?
Let's do it. Oh, by the way, Jonnu Smith, that was awesome. Great
yak. The bouncing off the defender was good. It was good tackling too, though. Yeesh. Woo. Birthday salami. Thank you very much, birthday or salami. Ingold was missed tonight in the run game. By the way, Alan, let's get a chop celebration for. I didn't. You know what? They cut away. I didn't even see what that celebration is. You want one of those? One of those? Oh, like this. Sorry. There you go.
And credit the first Chop Robinson. Well, he had one solo sack tonight. He was in on another, though. I don't even know if he got a half sack for it. But Javon Holland from like 25 yards down the field, he even got in on the choreography for it from distance. I thought that was extremely impressive. I like that. I like that celebration.
Yeah, and as Chop explained, when he got his first sack against Buffalo, he couldn't celebrate because it was in a 2-minute drill for Buffalo, and Buffalo was going back to the line of scrimmage. So, Toby, how are you, Toby? Thank you very much. McD sent a message to Mostert for fumbling 0 rushes. Sure would seem that way, right? But McDaniel loves Mostert. So I would imagine. He looked like the game plan certainly early on was not to run, but to throw the ball, because they ran the only run in their first 2 drives was the Malik Washington touchdown on the other one. Everything else was a pass, including a 3-and-out.
I think what was it? They passed 7 of the first 8 plays with that one play being Malik Washington.
Yep. Toby, again, thank you very much. Saw the effect of no Ingold. Offense very limited. Yeah. Big bad. No, thank you very much. Was not expecting the Rams receivers to be limited like they were. Secondary was on tonight. They wound up better numbers. I know Poupart was Nakua 9 for 98, Cup 7 for 80. Not terrible numbers. They just didn't do any a whole lot down the field.
And that's the thing. I know that at the end of the first half, it was a little bit annoying. And then in the fourth, when the Rams are getting down the field, like, man, they're hitting these 7-8 yard passes, these underneath routes. The Dolphins were more than willing to concede those, especially with the way the defense played in the red zone tonight. More because at that point, too, you're fine giving up 3. You're still in good shape. You feel good about where you're at. And I think even at the end of the half, they were fine giving up 3 in that spot. Would they like to not have? Sure. But as long as Coop's not beating you, Cup isn't beating you deep. That was a combination of Poop and Cup right there. Coop. Or Puka Nacua isn't getting behind the defense, then you feel okay about everything. So, yeah, the numbers are okay for the Rams receivers, but the Dolphins made a concerted effort to keep everything in front of them. The Dolphins secondary made a concerted effort to keep everything in front of them, and it was increasingly clear as the game was going on that was absolutely what they were aiming for, and I thought they played the Rams to perfection. Look at what they've done the last 3 weeks. The Rams have been taking the top off of defenses. They've been hitting those outside routes. They've been getting down the sidelines, getting the edge. That didn't happen tonight against the Dolphins because, again, everything was kept right in front of them, and the secondary had a phenomenal game. Jalen Ramsey was an absolute glove tonight.
Okay. Phenomenal. No, he was very good. No, well done. Spoiler alert, the dude can play. Jose Rodriguez, thank you very much, Jose. Toby, again, thank you, Toby. Damn, Ken has some lungs on him. Ken LaVicka.
You know, that's how I've made a living. Thank you for noticing that. I appreciate what I'm assuming is a compliment there. And, boy, you should hear me call a college football or college basketball game because it's even more pronounced and voluminous.
And there's more of it, too.
Oh, much more. Oh, boy.
It's more voluminous. Play along with me, Ken. Sean Heller, thank you very much, Sean. We won. Longtime watcher and reader. Much appreciated. Love to hear that. And, guys, you should follow Sean. Miami Dolphins on SI.com. Free content. And the podcast here practically every day for free as well. So, Christian Garcia, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Let's go to some more comments here. Some of those were, let's see where we go here. We're going to go toward the top here. Okay. Let's see. Now I got to wait till again.
Oh, by the way, while you look for that, Poop, I just want to point out that there is nothing more annoying than a wet willy. And that was my first NFL wet willy that I witnessed in tonight on national television. Who was it that got it in the ear? Was that Kader Kohu? that
yeah. By Kyron Williams.
right. There is no worse feeling than having someone's wet finger stuck in your ear. I've gotten plenty of them in my day. I was a very short and weak young boy growing up, and so I would be on the wrong end of some quote-unquote bullying. Nothing like beating up, but a lot of annoying ear flicks. I also had, as you can see, the aftermath, but my ears were much bigger. I hadn't yet grown into them as a kid, so I got a lot of ear flicks. I got a lot of wet willies, a couple of wedgies here and there. So I've been around the block a little bit with this, but wet willies by far the worst because they're just gross and they're moist and they're awful, and you've got the finger wiggling in your ear. I can't believe Kader Kohu didn't even react to it.
He did.
He was too busy trash talking to even turn around. He eventually went and pushed him, but at the time, he just sort of let it happen. I couldn't believe that. Wet willies are horrendous. And find me any more annoying bullying, like innocent bullying than that.
Okay, that was our anti-bullying segment of the show. Let's move on. Wayne Wilson. Hey, Wayne. Sanders is now number 3 in the all-time field goal list for Miami. Sanders was money. 3 for 3.
Did you get a little scared on that final field goal? Did you think it was drifting a little bit? Because I know you don't trust Jason Sanders a lot. You aren't the most trusting Dolphins kicker aficionado out there.
No, I was good with him. I wish we turned a couple of those field goals into TDs, but at this point, beggars can't be choosers. Yeah,
I don't care. I don't care.
Yep. Manny, I'll take some of that Kool-Aid with a shot of hopium, please. Manny, here's the thing. Look at the AFC playoff or the AFC standings. If we're gonna be honest about it, there are 6 teams that have kind of separated themselves a little bit: Buffalo, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Houston, KC, and the Chargers.
Yeah.
Outside of that, the next team in the standings is Denver, and they're 5-5.
Right.
The Dolphins are 3-6. That means they're a game out in the loss column with 8 games left. There's plenty of football left. So I think this idea that it's impossible. Sorry, I do think it's possible. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Let's see how it plays out.
I mean, they have 3 games remaining the rest of the season against teams that currently are inside of the playoff picture in the NFL. And that's at the Packers, Sunday Night Football on the 28th. It's at the Texans on December 15th, and then home against the 49ers, though the 49ers certainly don't feel like the 49ers of previous years that you're playing. They have some issues. They have some problems. They're hurt. They're rough. They're fighting each other on the sidelines. Here's my bold prediction, Poop, and this is the, hopium, shot of hopium.
Yeah.
The Miami Dolphins will win 3 of the next 4. The only loss coming at Green Bay. They will beat the Raiders. They will beat the Patriots, and they will beat Aaron Rodgers like everybody else.
Not exactly going on a limb over there. That's 3 of those 4 at home. By the way, 2 quick corrections, if I may. 2 quick corrections, if I may, my friend, because we like to be accurate on this show. And by the way, always, if I make a factual error, please correct me. You have my blessing. Number 1, San Francisco currently is not in the playoff picture.
Yeah. As I was saying it, I'm like, ooh, are they teetering on the edge? I might as well just go with it. And yeah, you're right. Okay. There's only 2.
And then number 2, the game against Green Bay is not on Sunday Night Football. Is on Thursday Night Football. It's on Thanksgiving night.
God, I saw NBC too. Well, 0 for 2 there. If you don't like that, deal with it. Fine. Thanksgiving night. But still, they're going to lose. They're going to lose that game. But win 3 of the next 4. Even though you're poo-pooing that bold prediction, when you're 3-6, winning 3 of 4, that's a big bold prediction, Poop.
Bold prediction would have been they're going to sweep the next 4. That's a bold prediction.
I'm not crazy.
They're going to beat New. Yeah, they're going to beat a 2-7. Sorry, New England's 2-8. The Raiders are 2-7, and the Jets are 3-7. Way to go out on a limb there, my friend. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Ohio John, thank you very much for the contribution. Washington seems to have the coach's trust. Will he make it hard for Craycraft to get his spot back? That's a very, 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 very astute observation there. He does have the coach's trust, and that's from the start. They've liked him from the start, and you see how they use him. I do think, and if you notice, Odell Beckham was a little bit more involved today than he had been.
Yeah.
So I think maybe Craycraft, how can I say this very politely? River Craycraft's a solid, dependable player, but let's not also pretend like he's like a difference maker. So right. I think it's necessarily a big deal if he winds up being like the number 5 guy.
What does River Craycraft do that Malik Washington can't? You know, I don't know how, if it comes down to one of those two guys seeing consistent time within this offense, how River Craycraft would get the benefit of the doubt over Malik Washington. I just don't. And it does seem like they are making a concerted effort to get him more and more and more involved in the offense as well. And so I think that's key. As soon as you have that Mike McDaniel trust, for whatever it's worth, you're going to keep getting trotted out there, even if you do all you can to try and lose it, Raheem Mostert. But, man, does he love you. He loves you through thick and thin. There's no doubt.
I like this one from Noel. Offense should be giving defense deep tissue massages on the plane ride home. Good
luck to whoever gets Sealer and Calais Campbell. That's probably a long and arduous task.
Be a no thank you. No thank you for me. Tim, we are average at best. Okay. They didn't necessarily look like a great team today, I would say. But again, I don't know that it's going to require like a great record to be that 7th playoff team in the AFC.
What if the Dolphins somehow get in as the 7 seed, just playing shambolic football for most of the year and being just a walking face plant for most of the season, and they back their way in the same exact seed that they were 2 years ago? Or flirting with the same seed they were with a significantly better team, at least through the first 2.5 months of the season last year. Like how backwards would that feel? But would that be, let me ask you this, if they back their way into the postseason, somehow grab the 7 seed, just grinded it out, the defense suddenly is the side of the ball that's getting results for you, like we saw tonight. Say you have a blueprint like tonight the rest of the year and it gets you to that spot. Is that a validation of the roster build and the pieces that were brought in to make this thing a little more physical and make this thing a little more complete, though it's not as dynamic?
Yeah, I'm missing some data to make that determination, because I'd have to see how it gets done.
They spent a lot of money to make that thing complete. This thing right now the Dolphins have, as uninspiring as it is better than that thing up in New York.
Oh, without question. That's a low bar, though.
So true.
Toby, I'd like to see a fullback on the practice squad. Man, there's no reason not to. They have a big back on the practice squad, but he's not a fullback. Deneric Prince, big dude, but he is not a fullback per se. But no, absolutely. But I think you saw, or at least I thought I saw Durham Smythe get more snaps today, and I think part of those were like in an H-back type of role, which would be where Ingle would have fit. So
yeah.
Whoa, okay. Oh, look at this. I think your dad just chimed in. I'm here because I like listening to LaVicka's take.
Alex, coincidentally, me too. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Alex.
That's funny.
I missed all you last week.
Give Calais Campbell an extension ASAP. Well, interesting story, by the way, if you guys are not aware, we've discussed it before. Ken, were you aware the Baltimore Ravens apparently were on the verge of consummating a deal with the Dolphins at the trade deadline for one Calais Campbell before the deal fell apart? No, I do not know what the particulars would have been. It would have been a draft pick, probably conditional. I don't know exactly how high. But the Dolphins were all in at the trade deadline that we're going to try to make a run with these guys. We feel good about what we have. We feel good about the ability to be able to make a run. This was in the aftermath of the Buffalo game where they played well even though they lost.
Well, it was after the Cardinals game where you and I were just sort of off the top of our head.
Ken, sorry. The trade deadline was after the Buffalo game.
Right. But what I'm saying is, so you and I, after that Cardinals game, we're talking about trade deadlines coming up. We were just riffing, remember, off the top of our head, who could the Dolphins trade for value that aren't the big money guys, right? And Calais Campbell came up because the way he had been playing, you could get value, at least something that you feel okay about, even if it was like a fifth-round draft pick. I felt like Calais Campbell, deal him because that guy deserves to play for a contender, and he was pretty open about the fact, hey, like you just said, I want to finish up here. I want to play here. I want to be a part of this. The Dolphins thought, too, they were going to stay put, and we could maybe make a run with them. Good thing tonight, without Calais Campbell, I don't think they win this game. But, man, I love watching that guy play. What an absolute I don't want to say out of nowhere, but certainly you're getting more than maybe what you anticipated for with Calais Campbell this year, because this has been consistent good play from him. He's going to be a lifesaver if they somehow back into the postseason.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's completely blown me away. I mean, he's 38 years old, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Somebody pointing out to his stats of 10 for 11 for 130 yards, 1 TD, 0 INTs in the second half. I'm trying to see if that's accurate, just because that's what I like to do. So I'm going to do some quick math here.
Tua?
Yeah.
But you can't tell Tua's story without talking about the bad sacks that he took. Multiple bad sacks in the second half.
This is what a lot of his fans do. It's just it's mesmerized by numbers, and it's not just about that.
I mean, that's the type of thing. If I jumped on here and looked at a box score, I'd be like, oh, Poop, man, that was a really efficient, really consistent half of football from Tua. And I didn't watch the fact that he's just floating backwards, taking sacks, throwing near picks. You can't tell the story of Tua tonight just looking at the numbers. And Tua did enough to win. Like, the throw to Malik Washington is fantastic. The throw to Jalen Waddle on the opening possession, phenomenal. The third down throw to Odell Beckham on the run.
Ken, my God. Oh, dude.
No,
oh, my God. Are you related to Omar by any chance? The hyperbole, dude. It's like this is what like always like gets me going with like the throw to Waddle. Nobody covered him. He was open by 15 yards. I mean, my Lord, there was nothing to that throw other than he spotted him when the guy is massively wide open.
Poop, I think contextually what you have to discuss, though, is Tua hasn't traditionally been someone that's good getting out of the pocket and throwing on the run. And he has been that the last couple of weeks. He's been able to throw on the run. He's been able to escape pressure as long as he's going left or right instead of backwards or stepping up in the pocket. I think that's improvement. I think if that can continue to hone, that's going to be very important for him continuing or at least getting back to playing at a potential Pro Bowl level. So I know that it might sound hyperbolic, but I'm looking at it contextually with Tua. But I'm also trying to say the dude took rookie-esque sacks tonight as well. And that, against a team like the Packers, that's not going to get you anywhere.
No, and my thing, I mean, it's like, I don't know, man. It's just, and this has been, I don't know. This is nothing new that like there's certain plays that are like very basic, and it's like, wow. Like, whoa.
Well, it's because Tua's become, there's no in between on Tua. There is I love him. I'm obsessed with him. I'm going to end up getting the cops called on me because I'm on his front porch type of fan of Tua. And then there's he's so limited, can't do anything. I don't even want to watch this. What are people seeing type of fan of Tua. There's no in between, so that's why you get that. Like when we start talking about locker room speeches, what are we doing? Like, who cares? That's so stupid. We don't live in a Disney World with Tua. But you have to acknowledge, Poop, that when he is doing things he hasn't traditionally done in his career over the last couple of weeks, get out of the pocket, throw on the run, do so accurately, like there is an aspect of that. If you unlock that more consistently, he could become more potent, and I think that's important.
I don't disagree with any of that. I just think, again, it's like almost grading on a curve where a certain plays he makes that should not be like lauded and we're going nuts over. And it's not, I mean, it's not just you, but it's like, yeah, I would hope he's going to make some good throws considering the amount of money the Dolphins paid him. And he does make some good throws without question. But the one to Waddle in the first quarter was like, to me, the only reaction to that play is what the hell were the Rams doing? It's not like, whoa, great play by Tua. But anyway, we digress, which we tend to do.
When it comes to Tua, the great divider.
Yeah. Only one penalty. Thanks, Noah. Only one penalty was a good showing tonight. Hope they can keep this discipline going. Yeah. Yep.
Like that also, I noticed that before we came on here. I was just kind of looking through the box. I'm like, man, I don't now remember a lot of yellow flags for the Dolphins tonight, because usually we're sitting on here and we're bemoaning the bad timed penalty, the one that blew up a scoring opportunity or led to a turnover. And I'm thinking about how much tequila I'm going to drink once we're done to try and wash away the memories. And that didn't happen tonight. That was such a clean, but I think that goes in, Poop, to why this felt like the Dolphins were in control the entire time. Because nothing about this was reckless. It was very consistent. It was at times dominant, and it was just very, very smooth. And that felt good to finally have that for the first time this year.
No, I agree. And then they also, key play also was when they had the turnover. I don't remember if it was after the sack of the fumble, and then on the very, very next play, the Rams gave it right back. I mean,
and I think it was Hand who popped it loose, and I mean, that was huge because you have the Rams working in a 30-yard field and then immediately have the ball back. That really stunted any momentum the Rams were going to get in the first half.
I agree. Christian Garcia, thank you very much. Does the Miami media like Tua eating chips? First of all, I believe the eating chips comment was made relating to fans, not to the media. Does the media like Tua? I believe the media likes Tua very much. Yeah.
I like Tua very much.
Okay. I like Tua. I don't have an issue with Tua.
I don't know.
There's some of these comments that don't. The quote unquote salty Tua. I don't know. Sometimes he's done a couple of things this summer that I haven't necessarily liked, and I've said it on the show. Like the show me the money after he signed his contract extension. To me, it reeks of individualism in the ultimate team sport. I didn't care for it. The chips comment, I didn't care for it at all.
That was dumb. I don't understand. Even if he's right, and there are Dolphins fans sitting in their parents' basement, wearing boxer briefs, and they've got bagel bites strewn about. Like, I get it. I understand, but I don't. I didn't understand that, and that's why I don't know why Tua. He's come back with this attitude, this defiance, and it's almost like he's trying to be this wrestling heel, like a bleep off. It doesn't suit him, right? Like, that's the thing. It's off-putting because it doesn't suit him. And then when he comes back the next week and fumbles another snap, it really makes him look foolish. So it is not a good look on him, of all people.
No, I agree. Blade Nicotera, I hope I pronounced your last name correctly. Thank you for the contribution. Jay Fiedler threw a better deep ball than Tua. He would be 9-0 with this offense. Ken, you want to take that one?
I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? I agree, but insert Chad Pennington for Jay Fiedler. Or no, I disagree. Cleo Lemon would be 1-8, at this point. Like, what are we doing? Why? What's the point of that? What are we doing with Jay Fiedler? Why is Jay Fiedler coming up? I have nothing against Jay Fiedler, but why? 12 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, no, okay, and Blade, no, I don't agree. Jay Fiedler was not as accurate as Tua is. Toby Marmarino, thank you very much. Didn't mention Cade Lamb's name. Played decently. Cade Lamb always plays decently. He's a good, solid vet.
Yeah, no doubt. He does not get nearly enough appreciation for just kind of being there and doing his job.
Yep. And that's going to be your starting right tackle for the next few weeks while Austin Jackson is on IR. So, you know what, Ken? It is late. You mentioned it was around midnight. We're going to wrap it up.
It was the Jay Fiedler thing that broke you. You got broken by Jay Fiedler. Well, I got broken by Jay Fiedler.
I like Jay Fiedler. Toby had another one. Clean game, only one penalty tonight on special teams. Yes, it was. There was Saran Neal, who went out of bounds as the gunner, and in the eyes of the officials, didn't fight hard enough to immediately get back onto the field of play, which is unsportsmanlike conduct. I didn't see the overhead camera angle to see if it was a bad call.
He was fighting it hard. He was, at the end of that play, he was fighting it hard, saying, come on. Like, I didn't even get a chance to come back inbound. You can't call that. I will go ahead and forgive him for that penalty because that seemed a little bit wishy-washy. And so, you know what? In my mind, after a win like this, and I'm feeling charitable, even after Jay Fiedler came up, I'm going to say the Dolphins had a penalty-less night tonight in my heart.
However, I will say this about Jay Fiedler. For those of you out there who love one-loss record as a quarterback stat, I don't. But for those of you who like it, Jay Fiedler's numbers are very, very good, actually.
Yeah.
I just don't know why. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I don't know why he had to come up tonight. Like, again, Jay Fiedler, I still think underrated quarterback in Dolphins history, but also why in God's name is he coming up? I don't know.
Anyway, what did come up was a Dolphins performance level, which led to a 23-15 victory against the LA Rams, moving their record to 3-6. Next on the schedule are the Las Vegas Raiders, who will come to South Florida following their bye. They're 2-7. The hope, it would be nice to see old friend Christian Wilkins in the lineup. He is on IR. He has sat out his minimum 4 games, but there's a question as to whether he'll be ready to go on Sunday. Anyway, wouldn't necessarily hold my breath, but it would be cool to see him have his quote-unquote revenge game against the Dolphins. For us, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks, as always, to my live post-game recap co-host Ken LaVicka, ESPN Radio. When's your next show, Ken?
I will be on this coming Friday, tomorrow night, FAU basketball at UCF, a big in-state college basketball showdown. So as always, check your local listings.
There you go. Very nice. And by the way, last thing before, please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. The Dolphins prevented, according to Tim Reynolds of the Associated Press, the first ever complete whitewash of Florida football teams over a weekend that includes FBS teams, Florida State, Miami, FAU, USF, UCF, FCS teams, and who else? And then NFL teams in Florida. Jacksonville, Tampa Bay had lost. It was 0-11 before Monday night. The Dolphins saved the day for Florida with the win. So now it's only 1-11. So on that note, thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ken. Enjoy your Tuesday, and we will be back here sometime on Tuesday. Thanks, everyone. Yeah. I did